guys, it's your friendly neighborhood soup lady, Caroline Wright. So this week I'm going to teach you my Louisiana red beans, which is technically only half of the recipe that you probably know, red beans and rice, but I'm going to show you the star of the show in honor of Fat Tuesday, or anytime really. So it comes together with simple ingredients, but what's interesting is that I tried to find, it's kind of hard to find smoky flavors in vegan cooking because that often comes from like, you know, a cured meat or a smoked meat. So I have a couple tricks for you. You already know my affinity for smoked paprika, chipotle chilies and adobo. This comes from one of those like little cans. I've chopped up one pepper and I've taken 2 tablespoons of the sauce and I've set that aside for use later. And then I used a green bell pepper just because it has that kind of vegetal chili flavor, but without the heat. So delicious. And then we've got some garlic and some celery. And of course, a pound of small red beans that have been soaked overnight. So let's get started with this simple recipe. All right, so this starts with some avocado oil or whatever your favorite neutral flavored oil, but I love cooking with avocado oil. And we've got that onion that we've chopped up, that celery, and the green bell pepper. And so we're just gonna cook all of that until it's nice and soft. We can go ahead and add our garlic now too. It's a lot of garlic. Season it with some salt and pepper. And we're gonna cook it until it's nice and tender. A little browned is okay. And then once it's tender, we're gonna add our canned chipotle chili that we chopped. I removed the seeds to make it less spicy, and the 2 tablespoons of the sauce that I told you about. It's really nice and smoky. This is some Cajun seasoning. I have a recipe for homemade Cajun seasoning, which I love to make my own spice mixes because then you can sort of make it more intense with the ingredients that you really like, and it can be kind of your own flavors. So this is Cajun seasoning, but store-bought works well too. And then this, of course, is smoked paprika, and that's going to go in once all these veggies are tender. All right, so looks beautiful. I can tell by that little crackling noise that it started to brown a little bit, so looks delicious. This is perfect as our base. So to this, we add our chipotle. And this is our Cajun spice mix, whether homemade or store-bought. I'm not gonna judge. So go ahead and add that. And my favorite, smoked paprika. And that's a delicious flavor base, along with, I have 2 fresh bay leaves. You can use dried, but I happen to have a bay bush in my backyard, not gonna brag. It grows like crazy here in the Pacific Northwest. So that's delicious. And now I just have the pound of small red beans that I've soaked overnight. So we give that a good stir. We add our water. Maybe a little bit of pepper, but not too much because, you know, the chipotle peppers can be a little bit spicy for some. And we don't want to spice anyone out. Now all we do is we just cover this and we bring it to a boil. And then it will simmer for about 40 minutes, uncovered to like get nice and thick. And then once the beans are tender, you turn the heat up to high and we just like tighten up the gravy. It's so, so good. All right, here we go. We can see that it's nice and thick and our beans are so tender that they're breaking up a little bit. Yeah, now all that's left to do is turn off the heat. That looks so good. And we season it to taste with cider vinegar and salt. Yum. So I'm gonna add the cider vinegar, about a tablespoon, but again, that's up to you. And some salt. So this is delicious served over rice or as is, or, you know, if you're not vegetarian, you could brown up some slices of andouille and like serve it like that. To be more traditional, you could serve it with some like spiced seared shrimp and rice. That would be really, really delicious too. Pretty much, it's very, very versatile and with tons of flavor if you're going to eat it just like this. It's just really delicious. So smoky, so delicious. Thank you so much for joining me today. This recipe is on page 73 of my first soup book called Soup Club, the story of how I made my soup club and some of my favorite recipes. And I would love it if you follow me here on YouTube and on Instagram at Slurp Soup Club. Pick up a copy of my book. Go to soupclubcookbook.com for updates of how to get them. And if you find it out in the world, just shoot me an email and I'll send you a signed book plate. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me here, and I can't wait to see you next week.